Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ashraf al-anbiya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. This is your brother Shaykh Khalid Yasin talking to you from my Sky Views platform. Sky Views are my views, my perspective, my insight, and in some cases, just my opinion. Nevertheless, on this program, we try to examine things, ask questions, and make observations, just for the sake of then sharing something which is positive. And even sometimes we take that which is negative and turn it into positive. Because at the end of the day, whatever we're watching, whatever we're listening to, it should add some value to our lives. So I want to post a question. Well, to be honest with you, there are two questions. But after the question, I want to propose like an answer. So the question, and I think this question is germane, you know, it's something that is like we all carry this feeling, our intent as Muslims, wherever we are, and that we want to do good, essentially. We want to be good people, essentially. So how can we make a very good contribution for Islam and the Muslim community? This is a question that each one of us has to sit back by themselves or along with their family members who are Muslims and ask this question. I mean, because we're not just individuals. We're individuals that belong to families. We have serious relationships with other human beings. We come from neighborhoods and communities, and therefore this is a sentiment that every Muslim must carry, not just the sentiment of ideology by itself, but the social sentiment. How can I make a good contribution for Islam and the Muslim community? And I mean where you are. I'm not talking about for Islam and the Muslim community all over the world. Where you are, how can you make a difference? How can you make a good contribution, a contribution that's going to affect or impact your community and also make a good presentation of Islam? How can you do that? The second question is, how can you and I, how can we contribute towards unity and empowerment? You know, two different words. Unity is some level of hands being put in the same place. Hearts could be in different places, but from the place where the heart is, the hand reaches out and touches at the same time or in the same place or in the same way. This is unity. It's another word for cooperation, collaboration. It's not like a complete melting pot that everybody has allegiances all together and everything. No, but we are cooperating. You know, we are cooperating. We are collaborating. We're putting our hands in the same place in different times and places and circumstances in different ways. We're putting our hands in the same place, extending from our hearts, from our minds, and putting our hands. It's like a collaboration. That's a form of unity. Now, this whole absolute thing about unity has a lot to do with ruling and government and power and authority, which we don't have. So we don't have to be trying to act like we do. We don't have to be taking that into consideration right now. Let's just cooperate and collaborate, know who your allies are and who your enemies are and who your brothers are and who the people that you can collaborate with and move forward. So how can you and I contribute towards unity and empowerment? Now, empowerment is a word that speaks for itself. Empower, you know, means, mean that you cause power to happen. Empower. When you empower someone, you give them you facilitate them, you assist them, or you give them some element or some energy or some inspiration or some value that they didn't have before. This is called like empowerment. So when a person and a family or a group of families or a group of people somewhere of some kind of background, when they are empowered, this is something tangible. When they are empowered, it's not talking. If they are evil, they have the power to personify their evil. If they are good, they have the power to personify their good. Good and evil is realized through personification, acting it out. So, empowerment and unity. How can we contribute to that for the Muslims in the year 2023? You know, how can we cause this to happen in 2023 of the 21st century? Keeping all in mind what has happened and where all of our roots and feelings and, you know, the asl of how we thinking and feeling and how we want to characterize that in the year 2023. How can we become socially empowered? How can we create some kind of relevant unity, thinking, fraternity, platform, cooperation? How can we contribute to that? Okay, so you got the theme, brothers and sisters. You got that theme? Okay, good. Now we're going to move on, and I'm going to give you my perspective on this issue, how we can communicate. How can I make a powerful contribution for Islam that was going to benefit the Muslim community, and it's going to give a good personification of Islam where I live? How can I do that? And the other part, how can we empower ourselves, and how can we cooperate and collaborate together as different entities, whether they are organizational, they are corporate, religious entities, but do we step outside of the heart or the mind of that entity, and we extend our hands in the same place, in the same way, and do different things that will overall benefit us? Okay. So how can that happen? How can this thinking that I'm proposing a thinking, how can that happen? Because other people, they propose a certain thinking and people listen to them. And people dress like them and act like them and do different things because they proposed it, because they was in a position of like influence. And when people of influence make a proposal, people be thinking and listening. Now, I'm not a person of influence, so you don't really have to comply, or you don't have to waste the time. You don't even have to give the investment of your time, unless you believe that it's a proposition that's worthy of consideration. So consider this. The best contribution that we can make as Muslims, and this is like just trying to be as fundamental as we can, like keeping it really, really real, keeping it 100, really, really real. We need to support and strengthen the leadership. We're not talking about new leadership. We ain't talking about we need to change the leadership. We need to repair the leadership. We need to criticize the leadership. You know, we got to, no, we need to strengthen our support mechanism. We need to create a support mechanism that will give the proper support to the vision and the investment of the leaders that we already have. Think about what I just said. We need those who's following. You going somewhere and the Imam is praying, he giving talks, he giving classes, or he making arrangements for somebody to happen, so that you are able, your family are able to move along in the deen, and you got the different services that will assist you in doing that. And you got the reminder every Friday and the apparatus and a building to come to, and you ain't got to do no preparation. When you get there, it's set up, and the clinic is set up, and everything is delivered to you, and then you leave, and even they got food there for you, and all that kind of stuff is going on. That's beautiful. But guess what? That's just a service that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered for us to do. A prescription Friday, or 5 prayers every day. Allah prescribed that. We trying to follow that prescription. Basically, So those who are day in and day out guarding the prayer, they are guarding the prayer in that zip code or in that community. They're guarding the prayers. They're organizing and administrating, make sure their adhan is called, make sure the prayer is there. There's a leader for the prayer, some kind of teaching. Then every Friday, you know, to make sure the people got a place where they can come to the clinic and again get the heart wash, get the head wash. You know what I'm saying? Get their, you know, and even, you know, meet and greet each other and all that. So those who've been doing that for 50 years, 40, 30, 20, 10 years, or been doing that even for a year, these is special people. These are the leaders. That's what they're doing. Now, brothers and sisters, you know, when I'm talking about leadership, I'm more talking about those who's taking the mantle of moral leadership. I'm not talking about necessarily those who own the buildings and those who are up in the administrative, because they get some rewards too. They facilitating with the leader, the teacher, the holder of the knowledge. You know, they like facilitating whatever. Sometimes the people who is sponsoring a building or a budget or whatever, they acting like they the executives and they telling people what to do. But in reality, they're only facilitating the one who's holding the knowledge and the trust and guarding the morality and teaching the people and leading the prayers and teaching whatever and guarding the Qur'an and giving a good personification and giving people comfort. He is a fountain, and the people, his teachers, his students and others that help him, could be wife, could be cousin, daughter, and other women, you understand me, who's trained and all that there. That leader has a tremendous reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should have a special regard for the people who do that every single day in and day out, 24/7. I mean, most of the masters of the new Muslims, the newly practicing Muslims, most of the masters of the newly practicing Muslims, 5 prayers a day, every day. Dawn is called, prayer is done. If there's 5 people that's there, or if there's the 50 people are there, or 500 people are there, and we got masters like that. We got places where there's 5 people and they come in every day, 5 times a day. There's 50 people is coming to every prayer 5 times a day. And there's 500 people coming there for every prayer 5 times a day. We got people in America like that. New Muslims, newly practicing Muslims. So why do I distinguish that? Because if the new Muslims and the newly practicing Muslims is able to do that, then it make it very easy for anybody who's coming from anywhere in the world, you understand me, to do what they do in the other parts of the world. Call the adhan, lead the prayer 5 times a day, but this is being done in the United States of America. Allahu Akbar. We have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve those leaders who have been doing this 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, consistently. And we have to give them strength, give them more support. Now, how do we do that? Well, the first thing, brothers and sisters, that you can do, that doesn't cost anything except what's in your heart, what's inside your mind. How ethical of the person that you are. You know, how ethical, principled of a person that you are. So the first thing is that if there's a leader, a teacher, a leader of the prayers, a teacher of the Qur'an and the Sunnah, a person who you know has been appointed, a person who is there, has accepted the responsibility, and they are teaching and guarding the prayer, and they are facilitating the knowledge. Now, this person need to be recognized and supported. Now, if they are actually the leader of the community, they are also known to be not just the leader of the prayer, but they're the leader of the community. At the bottom line, they're the ones that's going to have to bury somebody or marry somebody or settle issues and problems, you understand me, as being distinct Muslims in the United States of America. This leader, he's also the Amir. Yeah, he's Imam inside the building, but he's an Amir for his people. He's a leader of the people, a spokesman for the people. He has some command and influence over those people and responsibility for their lives. So he ain't just leading the prayers. Now, brothers and sisters, somebody might say, why we always about he? What about the women who don't know? They got a different station. Allah, he put everybody over something. And Allah gonna give the reward for everybody for what they do. And the leader of a people, and and Allah is speaking in a way, and the Prophet is speaking in a way that normally, under most normal historical circumstances, when it's the leader of a people, it's a man. Now, was there women who was leaders of the people and they was also like rulers? Yes. But that's called like an anomaly. That happens. God allow it to happen and demonstrate that it can happen. But that's not normal. The sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that Allah gives quwwah, power, authority, rulership to men. That's the way. Sorry. I mean, whatever contemporary thinking or classification or whatever it is somebody want to talk about, but we talking about historically as far back as human beings can document. It's like that. So, one, we need to support and strengthen that brother who has accepted this responsibility, has been doing it. And the way to do it is that when I'm coming to the masjid every day, if I live in a neighborhood, or I come every week, at least Jum'ah, I should schedule a time as soon as possible. I mean, as soon as possible. Don't procrastinate. And I don't have to call the Imam. I don't have to call the Amir. You know, like, can I have an appointment with you? No, you don't have to do that. You already know. Because the one thing about the Amir, the Amir may not lead the prayer. He may order somebody else to lead the prayer, but the Amir, he going to be there for the prayer. The Imam who's appointed, he going to be there for the prayer. So before the prayer or after the prayer, that's when you can do this. Before the prayer or after the prayer, because you know that's where they're going to be. You ain't got to make no appointment and get all that stuff like that. And you ask the Imam or the Amir, can you have 5 minutes of his time? Most cases, he's going to do that. If not, he's going to tell you what, he's on his way, come back, please. You come back. If he said come back, you come back. And when you get a chance to meet the Imam, maybe you saw him, he know you or whatever, but maybe never been to your house or whatever, you don't know your family, nothing, and you introduce yourself. I am Abdullah. I am married. I have 3 children. I live at such and such an area or place or whatever the case might be. I pray here. I want to put my hand in your hands to let you know that as long as I'm living in this area, I'm supporting you. You can rely upon me also for some form of support. And I heard from somebody else that, you know, an individual by himself, he ain't got no one else with him, should give $50 every month. And that somebody that's a family, regardless of what your bills and all that is, you should pay $100 a month. Now, you asking me, you know, like brothers and sisters, like right now, some of you listening say, Shaykh, where you get that from? Well, we can talk about that, but I'm not going to get into all that conversation. You guys spend money and make commitments and sign papers and give up all your information for things much less than what I'm talking about. So don't be getting into why I'm coming up with this. This ain't got nothing to do, you know what I mean, with like a religious nothing. This is like common sense, C-E-N-T-S. That's also S-E-N-S-E. Both. Sense and sense. We need both. So we talking about this part now. C-E-N-T-S. Put your hand in the hand of the Imam or the Amir, even if he know you, and let him know who you are. You got a family, this is where I live, and all my information, I left that there with you, and you can rely upon me bringing every month. You ain't got nobody got to ask. I'm going to swipe the card. I'm going to give them my information and be like direct debit. Whatever I got to do, that 50 from me as an individual or the 100 on behalf of my family, it's a done deal. I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is a part of my commitment as a Muslim living in the United States of America and living in the neighborhood where you are, Brother Imam. Done. Finish. 3 minutes. It's over. Before you walk out, swipe that card. That's your first month. Keep going. You're going to see in 90 days, you're going to see in 6 months what that commitment does. The first thing it's going to do is going to give that leader, when you come in and go out, he feels the responsibility of your family. He's been carrying that anyway. But now he feels a bit of relief. He feels good because he met the person who's responsible for that family that he's responsible for. See? It's like a shot in the arm. Think about that. If 100 families come to the Amir, I mean, they with him, they praying with him, but 100, they come and put their hand out, make it clear. Now, you're not regulating nobody's lives. You're not telling them what about this and that. And I saw you, somebody said this, and you got to stop drinking. And no, we ain't into that part. We just into being Muslim. And we going somewhere, there's a leader. We know he's a leader. Once we establish that is the leader, and I'm going to be in that area, how am I going to be coming there and benefiting and don't put my hand in the hand of the leader? That's what we come from. Now, those who's not into that kind of leadership, leave it alone. We don't get into talking about that. If nobody feel they need to put their hand in the hand of somebody, okay, and like you sign other contracts where you get, you be on Amazon and you doing a flight or for something else, and you make a reservation. They tell you, look, if you better pay $9 to protect yourself, travel insurance in case this happens, and you pay because you want some reasonable insurance coverage, support, consideration. But you will not give $50 a month. If you're an individual, you won't give $100 as a family just to kind of have the same kind of insurance spiritually, Islamically. Now you think about that. Now all those who want to get into the fiqh and the tafsir and all that there, and and they want to ask the scholars, can we do that? You ask your scholars, wherever they at, what you can do. I am not asking nobody in the United States of America what I have to do. I paid some dues. I got children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. MashaAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed me to perform Hajj and been over here, been sat with some scholars, and I got books, and what I ain't got, is already online, and I got experience and so forth and so on, and I got common sense to secure my posterity, my future. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said in a place in the Qur'an, Ya ayyuha billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah. وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. See? Oh, you who believe, fear Allah, be mindful of Allah. And look into what you have prepared for yourself for the future, for the near and the distant future. In this case, Allah says, لِغَدٍ. He's implying by this near and future. Because there's one kind of near, which is like, right, then there's another type of near, which is like imminent. Another one is like ba'id. It's like distant. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you and me, look towards the future. What plan? Look towards the plan. Connect yourself to a plan. Make a plan. Make a commitment. Make yourself known. Put a mark. Buy into the masjid that you're going to, the community. Don't get into the ideology of it and what's his ideology. Is he a Ash'ari? Is he a Shafi'i? He's a Hanbali? He got the fiqh of this and fiqh of that? Have he been given some kind of certification by some people at this institution or that institution? And, is he really like religiously correct? And, don't know. You can get into that part if you want to. You really think that's necessary, you can get into that. But for right now, let's just deal with the issue of putting an insurance on your heart, on your mind, so you sleep well, and a contribution to the community. That's how we coming at it. So, support and strengthen your leadership. Hold them responsible, but before you hold them responsible, give them the support that you are responsible to give them. Then hold them responsible. Okay? Give them something to work with. And what you do is give them something to work, give them a shot in the arm. Don't cost you nothing. Go see the Imam before or after the prayer. In private. Don't let people know what you're doing. You ain't trying to make no whatever and wear no special suits and, with nothing wrapped up in paper and make no proclamation. Man, forget all that. We don't need that. Just go to the Imam, sit down 5 minutes and make it clear who you are. What you got. What do you do? Who's your family? How many children you got? Where do you live? What kind of work you do? And after that, you put the hands in the hands of the Imam, you put your hand in his hand. That means it's an agreement. You got to do no whole lot after that. Then go swipe that card. Hit that button. Because today you ain't got to pass no buckets and all that. We got to do none of that. I could be talking to you right now, and you like what I'm saying. When you see the thing that down on the screen, yeah, wave your card in front of that. Wave your card right there in front of that. And we're going to get it NFC, or we're going to get it, some other kind of, some whatever. We're going to get it like that. Because the technology got like that. Chat GPT, you know what I'm saying? Technology is like that. We ain't got no excuse. People are using Chat GPT, and you passing some kind of buckets or box or bags. You know what I mean? Come on. We're not using what Allah gave to us. We ain't like spending from what Allah has given to us. That's what He said in the Qur'an. So one, give the support and to the local leader by going. And when you're doing that on behalf of his wife or your wife. You ain't got to bring you and your wife there. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to bring you and your wife and all your kids. You want to do something like that? After you go do it quietly, invite the Imam, invite the Amir, invite your leader. Come have some dinner so he can see your family. See? Then you're going to know his family. And then things going to grow. But before you get into all that part like that, see, first, put the hand in the hand, which means something in Islam. Even if the people that can't even say no words, they do like that, Allah holding them responsible for what they just felt and expressed. We need to do that. After you do that, based upon just the idea of like, I'm with you. Morally, I'm with you, and I'm recognizing you. And also I'm relying upon you, and I respect you. Then after that, men, they agree. All that take 2, 3, 4 minutes, whatever it is. Then after that, he don't spend no whole lot of time talking all kind of stuff. You got to be talking and asking questions ain't necessary. Go out there and swipe that card or tap it or wave it or whatever you're supposed to do and go on about your business. See you every 30 days just like that. You don't want to have to go through nothing like that. Direct deposit. Y'all know how to do that. Make a commitment right now. You know what I'm saying? Just come. Boom. You can stop it when you get ready to stop it. So imagine if your leader, your local leader, we ain't talking about the administration and da-da-da-da. No, your local leader, the one who you respect and follow, he gonna solve issues and represent you and so forth and so on. Your local leader. Imagine if you got at least 100 people that did that, that's 10,000 a month. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's 10,000 a month. So, imagine. That's not a lot of money. That's just a little bit. But guess what? Your leader will know what to do with that so that he can strengthen his leadership, capabilities, and resources on behalf of you. So imagine if there's 100 small guys like me. Small guys. People with small congregations. Small people. We ain't no big people. But it's 100 organizations like that. And all of them basically are what? They're all getting that same basic support. $50 from an individual, $100 from a family. And, some of them got 100 families. Some of them got 1,500 families that support. So now the issue of resources doesn't mean that it will build a huge infrastructure right away. But what it basically does, it builds the confidence first between the individual and the leader. The individual and the leader. And the family. The individual, the leader, and the family. It builds that commitment. People buy in. People have a feeling of belonging to. People adopt a feeling of belonging to. And that's what this will do. Now, about this support we're talking about, we're not going to just talk about it by words. No, we got to create the system. You have to have a system. Because we follow in systems. And so a system is called like an automatic support system, an automatic management system, meaning that the system facilitates everybody, wherever they are, seamlessly to be able to participate in this system. Let me repeat that. It allows everyone who is connected to the system to seamlessly, non-intrusively participate in the system, because that system is set up and managed in such a way that it makes it easy for everybody to participate. You and me, we don't have to worry about that system. Systems like that are already operating in the world, all over the world. We need to adopt that system for us and what we're talking about. And you leave it to the people who have that professional capability to do that. We're here talking about in respect to leaders. So 100 leaders whose lives will be changed, whose hands will not be tied. They can do something really powerful. This is what we're talking about. Your leader, along with 99 others, can do something very powerful just with a support system. That's what we're talking about here today. Just the support system. Now, brothers and sisters who want to argue about fiqh and what the scholar said, and I asked this one, I asked that one. Okay, you ask whoever you want. And if you give me their names, I give full respect to them. I'm not going to argue back. They have their right to their opinion as to where their opinion lands and whatever. But within the confines of the United States of America in particular, within the sovereignty territories of the United States of America, which my passport, my citizenship covers, I have a responsibility, after listening to, reviewing, visiting, reading, I have a responsibility to myself, to my family, to my inner circle, my general community, congregation that I may represent, or people that have a commitment with me. I have a responsibility that I have to deliver to them the solution. Not you. Not your scholar. Not your friend, not your reference, not your school, not your teacher. No, I have a responsibility to deliver that issue, that solution